y'all doing, everybody?
Awesome, man.
Are you going with them? How you guys doing?
Great. You have a good day?
Oh yeah. Thank you for everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Is everybody in the world watching?
We zitten er wel vaker. Lindsay gaat eerst nog. Je mag straks. Ja, dat is het leukste stuk is het tweede stuk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome
Run
to
your battery
Kennedy
down
Space
so
Center. My name is Bob, and I'm going to be your escort today as we head out to the Apollo Saturn V Center. We are going to be about 38 to 40 minutes getting you to Saturn V. We're going out around both of our launch pads, and you're going to get to see pad 39A and pad B as we're traveling. We're going to circle around the vehicle assembly building also in our tour this morning. And then you're going to get to see also both of our crawler transporters sitting out for our guests to see. And then we're going to get you onto the Saturn V Center, where we have one of the 3 remaining actual Saturn V moon rockets. The rocket you're going to see in that building is not a replica. It is a real Saturn V moon rocket. 3 were left over at the end of the program, and you're going to get to see a real Saturn V moon rocket. Also, at Saturn V, you're going to get to see a lot of other space artifacts that from the past, and we'll talk a little bit more about those as we get closer to Saturn V. Just need to mention a couple things here real quickly, and we're going to prepare to get started. Now folks, it is very important that while the bus is moving, that everyone remains seated. Please do not move around the bus while we're in motion. We don't want anyone hurt on the bus. Another of NASA's rules is while we're on the bus, please refrain from using cell phones other than to take pictures. You can take pictures with your phones of anything you want except for one place, and it's when we go through our main security checkpoint. And they ask, please do not take pictures of the gates or the guards. And once we roll past the security gates, then you can take pictures of anything you want, and there will be a lot of neat things for you to take pictures of. We just ask that you not use your cell phones for conversations on the bus. That's NASA's rule. Now also, as we're traveling, we're going to have some sections of video that you will see on your monitors. The first section of video will introduce you to Mr. Bob Cabana. Mr. Cabana is the Kennedy Space Center director, and he is a 4-time shuttle astronaut, 2-time astronaut commander, and he is a great guy because his name's Bob. What can I say? There you go. He's a great friend, and he's going to welcome you to Kennedy Space Center. And then we will have some other sections of video along with some live information. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to be your escort today. We're going to go out and we're going to have a good time, and then we're going to get you on to the Saturn V Center. Thank you for being with us, and I'm going to sit down and prepare to get started. Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Bob.
Duurt, ik weet niet hoeveel jaar of je bent, dus ze zijn nu wel bezig om naar machine toe te gaan.
Zijn
En de mensen die daar naartoe gaan, die komen waarschijnlijk niet meer terug naar de wereld.
Hey, what?
Dat het te lang duurt. En dat er is heel veel kan gebeuren.
You gotta shut it off. At least just flip it over and lay it down. It can't be like video and everything. Why, are you just running an entire video right now? Can't you pause it? kill your batteries so quick, you know. You're gonna be lucky if you finish that bus tour.
Space station. Dat is dat zeg maar het huisje.
You're gonna keep taking pictures, video and stuff? Hold it up for
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare to get started here, ladies and gentlemen, I need everybody's attention, please, folks. Excuse me, please. While the videos are being played and the information is given, we need everyone to please be very considerate of conversations. We need everyone to be able to hear the information today. We want you to enjoy your tour. And with that being said, we are on our way, and we're going to begin our first section of video as we head out the gate here. And again, thank you for being with us, ladies and gentlemen, and we are on our way.
Ignition sequence start. Now they'll step off the way now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We have pondered our place amongst the stars since the dawn of humankind. We've looked at the stars with wonder and amazement, their glow guiding our travel for centuries. The more we learn about our universe, the more questions we have. Today, we'll explore where NASA and its partners are taking us in the future. But before we begin this journey, just like every NASA mission, our number one goal is to return home safely. So always stay seated while the bus is in motion. Please, no food or drinks on the bus with the exception of water. Please keep conversation to a minimum so others may hear and enjoy the tour. No photography is permitted at the security gates, but there will be plenty of photo opportunities during the tour.
Hi, I'm Emily Calandrelli, and I'm excited to go behind the gates at Kennedy Space Center and experience the incredible achievements of NASA. I'm standing next to a real Mercury Redstone rocket, the same rocket that
There is
began
that
NASA's
Mercury
journey of
Redstone
human space
rocket she's
exploration.
speaking of,
Our trip today
standing
will
right
begin
straight
at the same
ahead of
Mercury
us up there.
Redstone and
That
take
is
us
a
through
real
Apollo
Mercury
and space
Redstone
shuttle
rocket.
programs, into current day activities at this multi-user spaceport, into the exciting future of NASA. The work that's being done right this moment at Kennedy Space Center is bringing us closer to that next monumental achievement in space exploration. To welcome you, here's Space Shuttle astronaut and Center Director of Kennedy Space Center, Bob Cabana.
Hi, I'm Bob Cabana. Welcome to NASA's John F. Kennedy Space Center, where NASA astronauts have ventured forth on flights of exploration since the 1960s, and where future space exploration will take us to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. What an exciting time to visit our multi-user spaceport as we celebrate NASA's 60th anniversary and the 50th anniversary of the Apollo program that saw a dozen astronauts on the lunar surface from 1969 to 1972.
See that one out?
In all our history, there's been one common theme woven throughout our DNA. It's our insatiable desire to explore beyond our home planet and our never-ending quest to expand our knowledge of the universe. As you venture behind the gates, you'll find a community of the most talented, dedicated, motivated workforce anywhere in the world who believe in the unlimited potential of space exploration. This is an active spaceport where new things are happening every day. You never know what you might see, so enjoy your tour.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come around here to the light. We're going to make a left turn and head directly north toward the Vehicle Assembly Building, which is considered the heart and soul of Kennedy Space Center. Hey guys, look at the alligator out there in the water. Right out there. An alligator laying right there in the water. There you go. Anybody seeing there? Yeah. That's only one of 6,000 that are here, okay? Yeah, and you know, they make a good backup security for us. No doubt about that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we turn, directly ahead of us is the Vehicle Assembly Building, the heart and soul of Kennedy Space Center. And from the bridge that we just came under, that building is almost 6 miles away from the bridge. It's 5.87 miles exactly from the edge of the bridge to the front door of the vehicle assembly building. It is a very big building, and we are going to get close. We're going to circle around the building in our tour this morning. Everybody will get a good look at it, and a lot of information about the
We're not going to be
VAB.
able to go.
This building is where they put together all the Saturn V moon rockets and all 135 shuttles. This next video will give you some information about the VAB leading up to the construction of this huge building.
You are now approaching the Vehicle Assembly Building, or as NASA calls it, the VAB. It is one of the largest buildings in the world by volume, and is the place where NASA completes the final assembly of its rockets before launch. The sheer scale of this building is hard to grasp, even when you're right next to it.
Do you ever feel really small when you think about space? What about when you're standing next to a skyscraper or a really big bridge? Well, I feel about as small as an ant right now. I'm standing inside the vehicle assembly building trying to grasp how large it really is in here. It has 4 bays. Each bay has 2 large horizontal doors below it and 7 smaller vertically opening doors above it, tall enough to fit the world's largest rocket through. In fact, these are the largest doors in the world.
It was built in the 1960s for the Apollo program. Every Saturn V rocket that sent humans to the moon was assembled right here. Every space shuttle mission also assembled within these same walls. After the space shuttle program, a major renovation to the inside of this building began to accommodate NASA's next generation of rockets, the Space Launch System, or SLS. Lockheed Martin has developed a capsule called Orion that will sit atop the SLS rocket. This capsule is designed to facilitate human exploration of the moon and eventually Mars. The first flown Orion capsule from Exploration Flight Test 1, EFT-1, sits inside the NASA Now exhibit at the Visitor Complex. This uncrewed test flight launched atop the Delta IV Heavy rocket in 2014. The 4.5-hour flight took the spacecraft around the Earth 2 times before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean, where it was recovered and eventually brought back to KSC. Just outside of the VAB, you'll see the Launch Abort System, designed to fit atop the Orion capsule, which will be tested in 2019. If anything goes wrong during launch, the Launch Abort System will quickly pull the capsule away from the rocket below with abort motors that produce 400,000 pounds of thrust, enough to lift 10 buses, just like this bus. The construction of the VAB required 65,000 cubic yards of concrete, 45,000 steel beams, 1 million steel bolts, amounting to almost 100,000 tons of steel. Notice the flag painted on the outside of the VAB? It's the size of a 21-story building. The blue section alone is the size of an NBA basketball court. Each star is 6 feet across, and each red and white stripe is wide enough for this bus to drive down. And the entire VAB? It's so huge that the Roman Colosseum would fit on the roof with room to spare for a parking lot. By volume, the VAB can fit 3.5 Empire State Buildings, and it would take 250 billion ping pong balls to fill it.
Anybody like to play ping pong? There you go. Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, as the video stated, the Vehicle Assembly Building is one of the world's largest buildings by volume. It is the 6th largest building in the world by total volume. But the Vehicle Assembly Building does remain to be the world's largest one-story building. 525 feet, 160 meters tall, and it's all one story. You can walk right into the ground floor of that building and look up and see the ceiling around. Now they also say that it's big enough on top of this building that you could set the old Yankee Stadium. and still have an acre left over. The building takes up almost 9 acres. Now we're going to come by the front side of the building where the flag and emblem are as we return from the launch pads in a little bit, and everybody will get a good look at the flag and emblem there. This next video is going to give you some information about our crawler transporters that are sitting right up here on the north side of the building.
NASA is known for dreaming big, and big dreams require big equipment. I'm standing next to the Crawler Transporter, the largest self-powered land vehicle in the world. It was originally built in 1965 for the Apollo program, and has since been updated to accommodate the space shuttle and now NASA's SLS rocket. Weighing in at 6 million pounds and capable of lifting and hauling 18 million pounds, the Crawler is an engineering marvel, even without a rocket sitting on top of it. This thing has 2,750 horsepower V16 diesel engines that can carry the Crawler up to a top speed of, wait
There
for
are
it,
both the crawlers
1
sitting
mile
right over there,
per
folks.
hour
Those
while
big
carrying
gray
a
track
rocket.
vehicles
Keep
sitting
an eye
right
out for the
here.
Crawler as we approach this area. And remember, we are visiting a working spaceport, so while the Crawler may not stay in one area for very long, it's bound to be out here somewhere.
This crawler transporter, folks, that is closest to us, this one has just finished a major upgrade that will allow it to carry up to 24 million pounds. And that includes the crawler at 6 million pounds, but it also includes the brand new mobile launcher and umbilical tower that is being built for SLS, and along with the new SLS rocket, maximum 24 million pounds. Right up here ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, this is an old mobile launch platform here. This was used for the shuttle program. This particular platform is the one that Columbia launched from April 12, 1981, out at Pad 39A, and that was the very first shuttle launch here at the Space Center, off of that platform right there. Also, the final shuttle launch flew off of that platform, and that was Atlantis, July 8, 2011. Along with many other launches in between, the first and last. Now, in case anybody might be interested, folks, NASA does have that platform for sale there, if you're interested.
Can we buy it?
Well, we got quiet. The platform's free, you just pay the shipping. That's all. So, we're going to move on.
That's the one for sale, Dad.
We're going to come on around here to the east side of the building, where you have a set of high bay doors here. On this side over here is high bay 1 and 3. 1 and 3 here on this side. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every shuttle stack that was built, put together, every one of them were put together in these two bays right here, either 1 or 3, from left to right, 1 and 3. All 135 shuttles put together right here. Now, I want to try to give you a little sense of scale as to how massive and big this building is. I want you to look in between the two big gray doors. All the way down to the ground, there are 3 people doors. Look there. All the way down to the ground. Right in between the two big doors. 3 people doors. Those are not mouse holes. Yep. People doors. Just give you a little sense of scale there as to how massive the building is. All right, now The small building, ladies and gentlemen, they're connected to the VAB. That's the Launch Control Center, or LCC. They would control every launch up to 7 seconds.
He works in
At 7 seconds, then it was handed to Mission Control at Johnson Space Center, Houston, Texas. Kennedy Space Center has always been launch control. Johnson Space Center, mission control. Now folks, you're looking there from the vehicle assembly building, coming down this gravel road here, across our road. This is the path all the way out to the 2 launch pads right here. From the vehicle assembly building out to pad 39A is 3.5 miles. And it would take the crawler transporter 6 to 7 hours to take the shuttle from the VAB out to 39A. Pad 39B is 4.2 miles from the VAB, and that would take 7.5 to 8.5 hours to get to 39B. When the crawlers were empty, just like you saw them, they could travel a blazing speed of 2.5 miles per hour, top speed. Loaded 1/2 to a mile per hour, top speed. And they do get 32 feet per gallon of diesel. 32 feet per gallon. All right, folks, we're headed toward pad 39A. Here's some information about this launch pad.
Here we are at the home of the most historic launch pads in the world. Just behind me are launch pads 39A and 39B. These 2 pads launched every single space shuttle mission to assemble and service the International Space Station, to launch the Hubble Space Telescope, to deploy satellites, and to conduct scientific experiments. We're looking out at launch pad 39A, where every man who walked on the moon began their journey. 82 space shuttle missions also launched from right here. Since the space shuttle program ended in 2011, this launch pad has been transformed to accommodate a private space organization. Can you guess?
SpaceX, the venture started by tech entrepreneur Elon Musk in 2002, signed a 20-year lease for the use of Pad 39A. You may have watched their Falcon Heavy test flight, the one that sent a Tesla Roadster into space. This is where it launched. The Falcon Heavy rocket is currently the most powerful operational rocket in the world by a factor of 2. SpaceX made history in 2012 when it delivered their Dragon spacecraft into orbit to rendezvous with the International Space Station, making SpaceX the first commercial company ever to visit the space station.
You can see that same Dragon capsule back at the visitor complex in the NASA Now exhibit. Since then, SpaceX has made numerous deliveries to the ISS, and some of their Dragon capsules have been used more than once. But the Dragon capsule isn't the only hardware they reuse. Yes, I'm talking about reusable rockets. SpaceX expertly lands many of their rocket boosters after launch. Sometimes they land back here at Cape Canaveral, while others may land on an autonomous drone ship floating in the ocean. The ability to recover and reuse rocket boosters is one of the most exciting developments in the aerospace industry in recent years. This advance in rocket technology is helping to bring down the cost of launching payloads into space, allowing more and more exciting technology to be deployed for use.
Hi, I'm John Murator. I'm the Director of Launch Operations here at Pad 39A. We got the keys to Pad 39A from NASA on April 14th, 2014, and we started a really radical transformation of this pad. One of the biggest things you notice right away is the big hangar we built, because we used horizontal integration for the rocket. And the other big thing that we've done is we've had to convert the pad from what's called a mobile launcher pad concept, where rockets assembled on a pad, or the space shuttle as it was at the time, and rolled here with all of its support equipment, to a situation where the pad is sitting on the flame trench, and we just move the rocket to it, lift, and get ready for launch. 39A is where Americans have returned to space, launching from Earth. So we're going to launch American crew members on pretty exciting about this place is this place gives SpaceX room to grow. We can put some amazing big rockets on this pad because it's a huge facility. And we're pretty excited about what this is going to bear for the future of SpaceX.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the video stated, SpaceX has leased this launch pad with a 20-year lease. And their ultimate goal from the beginning has been to help NASA get the astronauts back and forth to the space station by way of the Falcon Heavy rocket and Dragon capsule, and launched here from Pad 39A. Now we're looking forward to the first crew flight to the space station from here in just about 4 to 5 months from right now. And that's going to be exciting seeing that happening again here from American soil. Now, SpaceX, they build their rockets right here in the hangar. They're built horizontal, laid out flat, and they take them up the 5-degree incline of the launch pad on top of that big white piece that you see sitting up on top. That is called the strong back. That will come down into the building, pick up the rocket, take it up on top, stand it up vertically, and that's how they will prepare it for launch. Now, SpaceX and Boeing Aerospace have both partnered with the commercial crew to help get the astronauts back and forth to the International Space Station. Here's a good look at the launch pad right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to drive on around here, and as we go around this next curve up here, looking over to the right in the distance, you're going to see across the Banana River there, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, the Cape. And that's where the space program began, right over there. And as soon as we round the curve here, there it is coming into view right up there, the Cape. That's where it began back in the early 50s, right there. And again, it's separated down the middle from Kennedy Space Center by the Banana River. And there are 3 active launch pads over there right now. The first complex closest to the coast is 41, and that is operated by United Launch Alliance, launching Atlas V rockets. The next complex down is 40, and that is where SpaceX has been launching the smaller version of their Falcon 9. They've been taking a lot of supplies to the space station for NASA there from Pad 40. And there is a launch scheduled there Monday evening at 6:27 p.m. there at Pad 40. Now, the last complex over there is 37, and that is also operated by United Launch Alliance, and they launched Delta IV and Delta IV heavy rockets. As we turn here, folks, the ocean on the right, along the Space Center, there are 43 miles of restricted beach here. No one is allowed in that area. And the restricted area goes out into the water here 10 miles. The only thing we ever have coming in and out off this beach is a lot of sea turtles. Leatherbacks, loggerheads, and greens. And at the end of the last nesting season, the Wildlife Refuge counted 3,467 active sea turtle nests. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a good look at the launch pad right here, and we're going to stop just for a couple of minutes, and if you'd like to stand and get a picture while we're stopped of 39A, you're welcome to do that. Folks, here from this pad, we did have 82 shuttle launches from here. 82 shuttle launches from here. Also, every person that stepped foot on the moon launched from this pad. This is the only place in the world where people left the Earth and stepped on another planet. That's the only place right there. All right, folks, does everybody have your pictures?
But they're a lot smaller than like that's
All right, we're going to move on, folks, toward, we're going to,
partway the ocean right there.
we're going to move on toward pad 39B ahead of us up here. 39B had 53 shuttle launches, and right now it is being prepared for the new SLS Space Launch System rocket program. So this next little video is going to give you some information about pad 39B as we get real close.
Launchpad 39A has been NASA's Rockstar launch pad here at the Kennedy Space Center for the last 50 years. Pretty soon, though, as NASA strives to make its next great leap to return to the moon and onto Mars, the spotlight may shift here to Launchpad 39B. I'm standing in the flame trench of Launchpad 39B. During a launch, the temperatures in this area can get up to 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. 39B was built for the Apollo program and was used for the launch of Apollo 10, 3 Skylab missions, and for the Apollo-Soyuz test project. Now, we're going to go up to the top of the pad to meet with Nick Moss, who's the Deputy Project Manager of Launchpad 39B. Nick, can you tell us where are we standing right now?
We're standing on the pad surface of Launch Complex 39B, the future launch site of the SLS rocket.
Where does the rocket actually go around here?
It sits on top of those mount mechanisms on top of the mobile launcher. The tower is going to be on the north end, the vehicle just south of that. Ultimately, it'll fly up through the center of the lightning protection, around 600 feet above it.
Which one is the lightning protection system?
Lightning protection is the 3 towers around us and the catenary system up above it. They protect the vehicle from a lightning strike and take all of the current from the lightning down into the ground.
Now, this is a really big rocket, so I imagine there had to be modifications to this launch pad to support the SLS?
There's been a large amount of modifications over the past bunch of years. Mainly, we tore down the fixed service structure that was here for shuttle, the rotating service structure that was here during shuttle, modified a lot of the large piping systems.
So much has changed here.
Other than the concrete we're standing on and some of the minor things underground, everything is brand new or completely refurbished and ready to support the next vehicle.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for showing us around Launchpad 39B. This is a really cool place. So while Launchpad 39A has the pedigree of sending humans to the moon, you now know that Launchpad 39B has a very bright future as NASA works toward crewed missions back to the moon and onto Mars. I can't wait.
Following the Apollo program, Launchpad 39B hosted 53 space shuttle missions. Today, the facility is a clean pad, meaning it does not house a permanent launch tower. That mobile launcher you saw earlier will be set here by the crawler transporter for SLS launches. During the refurbishment, 1.3 million feet, over 400,000 meters of copper cables were removed and replaced with 300,000 feet, 91,440 meters of fiber optic cable. The 3 lightning towers, each 600 feet, 183
Those towers, 600 feet
taller
tall,
than the VAB, were installed
wired
to provide
together
protection
at the
from a
top
lightning
and
strike that
grounded
damaged the
down at
rocket
the
before
bottom.
launch. After all, Florida is the lightning capital of the United States. This launch pad is full of impressive features. The water tower over there holds 400,000 gallons, over 1.5 million liters of water. All of that water is dumped on the mobile launcher and inside the flame trenches in less than 30 seconds during the launch. That's roughly 1.1 million gallons per minute, fast enough to empty roughly 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools in 1 minute. The water not only cools off the launch pad and equipment, it helps suppress the incredibly powerful sound waves that could damage the spacecraft during liftoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the building here on the right is called the Pad Technical Office. The ladies and gentlemen that work here take care of all the technical duties that come up on the pad, but no one could be close to here when we have a launch. 3.5 miles is as close as anybody could view a launch. Now that platform and tower standing up there, that's brand new. That's out here for a while being tested and making some adjustments on it for the new SLS rocket. In a couple of weeks, the crawler transporter will come out here to pick it up, take it back to the vehicle assembly building for some more adjustments there. Now folks, we're going to drive right alongside of the crawlerway here, and we're going to drive across the crawlerway again right ahead of us in about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're going to head back towards the vehicle assembly building. This next video is going to give you some information about the space station built by the shuttles.
We're here in front of Space Shuttle Atlantis, which played a key role in the assembly of the International Space Station, or ISS. I'm here with Bill Dowdell, who's the technical director of the ISS. Hi, Bill, can you tell us what is the purpose of the space station?
The space station was built to conduct research. We're in partnership with Russia, Canada, Japan, and Europe, and we're working with companies from all over the planet to be able to do that science and technology development up there. We're working with many companies here in the United States that continue that process and to come up with new technologies that will benefit us here on Earth.
Right, and I know there's a lot of research that goes on up there. What are the benefits of that research?
Well, almost everything that we do on the ISS has a derivative here on Earth that benefits humankind. Every time you pull out your cell phone to take a picture, the sensor in that cell phone that you're using to take that picture with was developed by NASA. We're doing medical research on Earth for crew health that has direct benefits down here, like things for bone loss. We have a very high-tech water purification system that we have developed, and that technology is transferred directly to Earth so people in rural places can get clean drinking water, the simplest of things.
Right, and the space station has been up there for many years, but what does the future hold for it?
The future is bright for the ISS. We're going to fly until 2028 or give or take. This station is going to serve as a platform for continued scientific research and technology development. We're going to use that technology as we segue into going to the moon with the Gateway project. And very shortly in the next year, the Commercial Crew Program is going to begin sending astronauts to the ISS on American rockets from American soil. So, very bright future. Things are looking up again for Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, the International Space Station sounds like a very important place. Thank you for telling us all about it, Bill.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to drive right across the crawlerway right up here, and you can look to the right down the crawlerway toward the vehicle assembly building, or you can look back left toward Pad 39A. The crawlerway here, the gravel road, is made up of 2 40-foot gravel lanes and a 50-foot grass median. The crawler transporters have 8 large tracks, and they straddle the grass. 4 tracks are on each side of the grass. They straddle the grass. Now you saw both the crawlers, and they were made by a company in Marion, Ohio in the Midwest. Marion Power and Shovel Company, Marion, Ohio. They sent the crawlers here to the Space Center piece by piece. And with the help of the engineers from Ohio and the engineers here from NASA working together, it took them almost 2 years to complete the crawlers. They began assembly here in April 1965, 54 years ago this past April. And at the present time, each one of those crawlers have accumulated right at 3,200 miles on each one of them. have serviced Kennedy Space Center very, very well. This next video is now going to give you some information about the Launch Control Center that's connected there to the VAB. Right ahead of
at
us
the
up there.
four-story building
The
with the
small
slanted
building.
windows as we drive through this area. This is the Launch Control Center, where launch directors and their teams oversee every NASA rocket that lifts off from KSC and give the final go or no-go. I'm inside the LCC with Charlie Blackwell Thompson, the first female launch director. Charlie, can you tell us, what does a launch director do?
Well, the launch director's job, I think, is a pretty special job on the launch day, and it's really to look at how the team is proceeding through launch countdown. Is there things that we should be doing that we're not? Are we on schedule? Are there steps that we need to be taking? It's really to kind of stand back and take that big picture look at launch. The folks that are on the floor, the team of engineers that are in the firing room, they have a very tough job on launch day, and that's to evaluate the ground and the flight systems and ensure that they're ready for T0 or liftoff.
And what does it mean to you to be the launch director of this very important mission, EM1?
Well, it's very special. To be part of an inaugural launch team is something amazing, really, and to be part of bringing a new capability to America's space program with the SLS rocket and the Orion spacecraft, and sending them on this mission known as EM1 is pretty incredible.
Right. And what is your role leading up to that big launch?
So leading up to launch, it's not all about that launch day. There's a lot of work that goes into getting the ground systems, the flight systems, and the team ready for that day. And so there's work on preparing the team, doing training, certification, ensuring that they're ready to go in those final minutes and final seconds of launch countdown when you have to do critical commanding, critical verifications. It's also about ensuring that your ground systems are ready, all of the capabilities that you need for launch. It's testing them and ensuring that they're ready for launch day as well. And so it's about getting the people ready, getting the team ready, getting their paper, procedures, defining launch countdown, ensuring that all of that critical work fits together in the most effective and optimal way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're coming up here on the front of the VAB where the flag and the NASA emblem are. The American flag was first painted here in 1976, and that was for America's 200th birthday. And it's been repainted twice since then, and it does take 602 gallons of paint to paint that flag. 602 gallons of paint. The stripes of the flag are wide enough that we could drive our bus down the stripes. The stripes are 8.5 feet wide. The blue Canton field where the stars are is the same size as a professional basketball court. And the stars 6 feet around, point to point. That's the world's largest hand-painted flag, 210 feet in length, 110 feet in width, and the NASA emblem there is 110 feet in diameter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about 3 or 4 minutes here to Saturn V, so enjoy this little video, and we'll be there in just a few minutes.
Even though rockets often launch from Kennedy Space Center, astronauts have not traveled to space from the United States since the last shuttle mission in 2011. NASA's Commercial Crew Program is bringing human spaceflight back to American soil. In 2018, NASA announced the astronauts who will fly these historic missions. For the first time, NASA astronauts will ride to the International Space Station aboard spacecraft developed by private companies. Boeing and SpaceX have been working closely with NASA to each design their own spacecraft to transport astronauts. Boeing's CST-100 Starliner and SpaceX's Crew Dragon are scheduled to complete their 2 test flights in 2019, an unprecedented achievement for commercial space industry. This year, each company will launch an uncrewed test flight followed by a crewed test flight. That large, colorful mural depicts the Starliner in orbit. The building it's on was once the orbiter processing facility for the Space Shuttle program, and and is now being leased by Boeing. The CST-100 Starliner launches atop an Atlas V rocket.
We're going to take
made
a
by
look in
United
this little
Launch Alliance,
water
or
hole over
ULA.
here. We've
They
been
currently
seeing a
launch
bunch of
Atlas V,
manatees hanging out
Delta
here,
IV,
and
Delta IV
sometimes
Heavy
some alligators.
SpaceX launches their Crew Dragon atop
And
of their Falcon
sometimes
9
nothing.
rocket. All of these partners are reinvigorating the space
The
community here at
manatees are
Kennedy
making
Space
the
Center.
bubbles coming up and down out of there, so they're there. It's just
There's
Technological advancements these organizations help make happen. Private space manufacturing and transportation companies like SpaceX, Boeing, United Launch Alliance, Vector, and Lockheed Martin, among others, are seizing the opportunity to launch satellites and perform other low Earth orbit missions.
But why some say the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
When President John F. Kennedy made this speech in 1962, he set in motion an era of discovery that would change humankind forever. 7 years after he spoke these ambitious words, the world watched as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first people to walk on the moon. The achievements of the men and women who worked on the space program in these early decades of NASA helped propel the technology we use every day. NASA and the thriving private space industry at Kennedy Space Center today are the living legacy of their story. As we arrive at the Apollo Saturn V Center to learn more about that historic era, get ready to step back into a time when NASA had everything to prove to a nation focused on one goal: to be the first country to land a person on the moon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now here at Saturn, and inside the building up here is one of the 3 remaining actual Saturn V moon rockets. The rocket you're going to see in the building is not a replica. It is a real Saturn V moon rocket. And you also have space artifacts from Mercury and Gemini that are in the building. And there is also a piece of moon rock you can touch with your hands. And there's also a big food court if you want to get something to eat or drink. Now folks, right over here to our right, this is a brand new memorial garden right here that was made and built for the Apollo astronauts. And it is a beautiful garden. If you would like to walk out there anytime you would like, you're more than welcome to take a look at that, and you will really enjoy that. Now, right now, you're going to begin going right there to those steel doors. Those will open up, take you right on inside. And we hope you enjoyed your tour this morning, folks. Have a wonderful time while you're here. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Alright, you gonna end that video? Jerry?
How do you connect videos together?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Watch out behind me. Push me to wheelchair.
What?
Wheelchair, push me.
Push me around.
We'll get a stroller from you.
Dad, you know at Apple how there's like those stability cameras where it's like you lock it on one place and it like keeps the camera stable in that one spot. So like if you move around or you shake, it's stable. I want one of those.
Your sister, I don't know what she did with it. You gotta ask her. She's got like a really cool underwater video camera. That stabilizing and stuff. I have never seen it again after it has worked.
American Fly Spider-Man.
So I've never seen that thing again. Oh, this little video camera I got Mary Ann as I did. It was the Christmas I left her mom. Underwater. Never seen one thing that long. I guess I sold along with the other little thing I got Mary Ann for her birthday that year. Bob, thanks. Thanks, Bob.
Have fun. Have fun, buddy.
Okay. Hey, Jared, why don't you Mary's fine.
That's not actually the real one.
No, you should see it up in here.
They wouldn't have the real one on there.
Oh, that's got water all in it. I'm just gonna stand this side. It's full of water.
You want to go to the open doors? Let's go through the doors. Just pretend to sing.
And refrain from flash photography for the duration of our presentation. Please note that this is a no-smoking facility. If you must leave the theater during the presentation, please use the exit door located behind you at the rear of the theater. Thank you. As you enter, please move all the way to the front of the theater to make room for the guests behind you. Our presentation, and now, it is with great pride that we present the story of NASA's Apollo program, the greatest adventure mankind has ever undertaken.
When I was a kid, I used to dream about flying through space. Every week on TV, I'd watch my heroes as they jumped into their rocket ships and took to the stars. And I wanted to be like them. They had courage, imagination, and no problem ever stood in their way for long. You know, in the end, when we actually did send men into space, it turned out that those were exactly the qualities it took. I'm John Hudson. This is Pad 39 of the Kennedy Space Center. I was a launch controller here when from this very spot, man took off to fly to the moon. It was a journey that began 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world. Back then, we were one of two superpowers that always seemed to be on the edge of a terrible war. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first ever man-made satellite into Earth orbit. They called it Sputnik, which means traveling companion. And in a world where peace hung in a delicate balance, it seemed to create a dangerous advantage. Every ham radio operator in America could hear it beeping. People were afraid. Were the Soviets looking down on us? Watching us? If they could make a satellite pass over our cities, could they do the same with a bomb? Our own space program kicked into high gear, and less than 2 months later, we were ready to launch our own satellite. We fell even further behind. Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man into space, circling the world in just 89 minutes. We had our own astronauts, and they were eager and ready to take the big ride. But our manned space program couldn't seem to get off the ground. We stuck with it, and on May 5th, 1961, things finally started going right. Astronaut Alan Shepard took his ship Freedom 7 6.5 miles into space. America had its first space hero. Just a few days later, our space program received a new challenge. But this one did not come from the Soviet Union. It came from our young president. In one inspiring moment, he changed the mission from one based in fear of the present to one of hope for the future.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
We hadn't been more than 16 minutes into space, and now we were going to the moon. We would have to design a rocket the size of a 36-story office building, put it together with the precision of a microscope, and accelerate it to the speed of a bullet. Then we would have to guide it to a moving target 250,000 miles away. Many people thought it was an impossible dream, but 400,000 of us set about making that dream a reality. It would be the longest, most hazardous voyage that any man had dared to attempt. But step by step, mission by mission, we orbited the Earth, perfecting the skills and technologies we would need on this incredible journey. Our astronauts practiced maneuvering, docking, and the 1,000 other tasks that would comprise the moon mission. We created new alloys, lighter and stronger than anything seen before. We designed communication systems that would be reliable over the vast distances. And behind it all, we tried to perfect the rocket that would be powerful enough to punch out of Earth orbit and take us to the moon. One day, however, the dream of flying to the moon almost slipped away. It was January 27th, 1967. Astronauts Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward White, and Roger Chaffee were on board Apollo 1 for a plugs-out test, a full-scale dress rehearsal for the actual launch. Suddenly it happened. There was a fire in the capsule. 3 men whose lives had been in our hands were lost.
Surely the opening vistas of space promise high costs and hardships, as well as high reward. But This country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested and wished to look behind them.
After Apollo 1, some thought we'd failed, and that the moon was out of our reach. But we owed it to those men, to learn from their sacrifice, and to carry on. We started taking the Apollo vehicle apart, piece by piece. Was the design flawed? Had safety been compromised? Tough questions. And we spent 1.5 years redesigning the spacecraft so that no astronaut's life would ever be at risk because we overlooked something or because we could have done something better. A moon rocket is 91% high explosive, and it goes into the most unforgiving, hazardous environment there is. We could never make it risk-free, and the men who flew them knew that. We didn't send men into space again until Apollo 7 orbited the Earth testing some of the new designs. When everything worked perfectly, the decision was made. The next mission would travel to the moon. It was mankind's destiny to leave the shores of our planet behind and strike out across the vast ocean of space. In the great span of our history, now was the time that we could. Now was the time that we would. We stood on the eve of the longest, most dangerous journey that any man had ever undertaken. And it would be taken by Frank Borman, James Lovell, and William Anders, the crew of Apollo 8. Through those doors, you'll find the firing room, launch control, just as it was on December 21st, 1968.
Please gather all of your belongings, take small children by the hand, and proceed through the open doors to firing room number 1. All strollers, wheelchair guests, and hearing impaired guests, please use the door to your far left.
I remember when I would swing.
No, not anymore.
Onto a heavy.
Guests with special physical needs, including wheelchairs and hearing disabilities, please be seated in the front row.
At this hour, here at Cape Kennedy, it is their plan to go ahead with it. To send 3 men to the moon and back. I'll repeat that. To send 3 men to the moon and back.
For the comfort, safety, and viewing pleasure of all our guests, we ask that you refrain from flash photography for the duration of our presentation. If you must leave during the presentation, please exit through the doors on your right. Thank you.
Sorry.
At this moment, nothing appears to stand between Apollo 8 and the moon except the sky.
This is the firing room, launch control for the Apollo missions. This is not a mock-up. These are the very consoles we sat at when men first took off to fly to the moon. The tragedy of Apollo 1 had put us 1.5 years behind. We were making up for it in one big leap, and we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before. It was a few days before Christmas, 1968, when Apollo 8 sat on the pad. She was the first of a new kind, a moon rocket. This was the Phoenix, risen from the ashes of Apollo 1. The first Apollo crew did not die in vain. This was to be their testament. "36 stories high, She had been fully fueled throughout the night. The liquid oxygen in her tanks caused ice to form on the outside of the craft. The extreme temperature differences between the air and the sub-zero fuel caused the metal skin of the rocket to expand and contract. Everyone was on the pad agreed. It was as though the rocket was alive, breathing, straining at the leash. Earlier in the morning, astronauts Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders had made their final preparations before taking that long ride out to the waiting spacecraft. The minimum safe distance from a Saturn V at liftoff was 3 miles. The reason was simple. When fully fueled, the rocket contained the explosive power of an atomic bomb. As the clock counted down, the astronauts and all of us in launch control went through the pre-flight checks, our hands on the controls of the most powerful, most complex machine ever built. It had over 2 million separate systems, and to bring these men back alive, everything had to work perfectly. Each individual system had been tested, but what we didn't know was how they would perform when all 2 million began to work together. That moment would come when the countdown clock reached 0. If a maneuvering thruster failed, if communications broke down, if navigation was off by 1 degree, if any piece of the miles of wiring, circuits, relays, or valves was defective, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders would pay with their lives. As they sat, waiting for launch on that chill December morning, these 3 astronauts were back to what they had always been, test pilots. You are now in the final minutes before the launch of Apollo 8, right here where it actually happened. Mankind is about to leave his planet behind and journey to another. It is one of those rare moments when history is not being made, destiny is being embraced.
This is launch control. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. We've completed our communications checks with the Apollo 8 astronauts in the cabin, and the communications are go. During this period, once we do get the firing command, the various tanks within the 3 stages of the Saturn V launch vehicle begin to pressurize. We have firing command. The firing command is in. We are calling the automatic sequence. T-minus 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Our status board indicates that all aspects are ready. Instrument unit is ready. Spacecraft ready. Final check of the emergency detection system. That will be light also. First stage preparations are completed.
Okay.
Keep going. We're on. Ready to go to cockpit. Stand by, Walter. Okay, you're on.
All systems go.
T-minus 45 seconds and counting. First stage liquid oxygen tank has been pressurized, and the pressure's still building up. Coming up in 90 seconds, mark, T-minus 90 seconds and counting. The Apollo 8 crew standing by, spacecraft commander Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, Bill Anders. now to report that the liquid hydrogen tank in the third stage is pressurized. 1 minute and 15 seconds. All third stage propellants pressurized at this time as we come up on a 60-second mark on a flight to the moon. 260 seconds and counting. The vehicle now is completely pressurized. We're coming up on a power transfer shortly. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, all aspects. We are still to go at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, sequence start. The engines are on. 4,
Apollo 8 successfully orbited the moon, and the astronauts returned safely to the Earth. I know. I'm Jim Lovell, and I was one of the crew of this spacecraft, Apollo 8. We were the first men to see the surface of the moon from just a few miles away. But it was the hundreds of thousands of men and women who worked in that team, and the millions of people who supported the mission that really made it possible. That way, I guess, we all went to the moon. Now, on the other side of those doors, you'll find an actual Saturn V moon model. It's still the most powerful, the most complex machine ever built. And I guess it's the only one that can take you to another planet. I actually got to fly one on a second flight to the moon called Apollo 13. But that's another story.
Please watch your step as you exit the firing room. Continue your journey at the Lunar Theater, located near the nose end of the Saturn V rocket.
That was amazing.
Enjoy your visit to the Apollo Saturn V Center.
What?
Did you like that?
Yeah.
You're wanting to skip the videos.
What?
You're wanting to skip the movies.
What do you mean?
You asked if we just go around them.
Oh, I thought it was just the movie. I didn't think it was this.
Yeah, you get to know the history of it all there. This really happened.
Interactive when the building started shaking.
The real thing.
Yeah.
Can we go all the way
This
down
one was
there?
never used, but this was.
Can we go all the way down there?
We're doing it. Go take a picture. Here's your command post.
Space.
Ah, is that what the deal is?
Yeah, because you didn't have any gravity to pull the ink out.
Is the space pen not pretty awesome?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Basically, it's our ballpoint pens we're using. With no gravity, our normal pens weren't going to work.
It was just ballpoint.
Fisher Space Pen coming first. Focus on Space Live on QVC.
Dad, is this the model or is this the
that's
real,
the real
thing?
one. But no, it never launched. It was one of the 3 that were left over at the end of the program.
Oh. Then where's the real one?
No, that is the real one.
No, like the one that was.
Most
like,
of the ones that were used were recycled for parts. Taken apart. There's bits and pieces. Like one of the motors we had just out of DCC in there.
You know, they are really stupid. They
So this is all how it all breaks down.
are really stupid. They have, so you burn $500,000 worth of gas, worth
You
less than
understand
like
that
a million.
all this is fuel. All of that is fuel. So like then once this is all burned up, this whole bottom comes off, and then it's this part that's boosting. And once it gets up further and that fuel's gone, this all comes off, and it's just this.
And then that comes off, and then it's just that.
Land on the moon. Right
Yeah,
there. That comes off.
And they're just in this top part.
They're so stupid. They have $500,000 worth of gas down in that big compartment there.
It takes that much to push it off of the ground.
And then they just burn that less than 5 minutes, and then another $500,000 worth of gas burns right away. It's like you're spending $4 or $5 million just worth on gas, and just to put it away.
put a moon suit on.
Dad, can I get a drink? I'm
Yeah,
thirsty.
sure.
I'm thirsty.
There's the lunar lander down there, Jerry.
The limo lander? Lunar.
There's the buggy.
That's the real buggy.
Yeah, they left all these up on the moon.
What?
All the ones that ever went there were left on the moon.
These are just replicas
This is
of the
this
real
is-
thing?
This is it. This is what went. But this is just extra ones they had. There's their suit. Check out the moon boots. Now those might have been actually on the moon. See, there's one of them in the background of that picture. But he's not on the moon.
Yeah.
See the cars in the background? There. You know that these buggies are all still there?
Yeah.
They left as much as they could and took as much as they could. Rock-wise, man. They had to ditch the weight. In theory, you could go to the solar plant and get them going again.
I don't get why they put like
This is
wrap
just a
around
model.
it.
Yeah, one. That could be driven around.
You could drive this?
You see it had, here's their little collection trailer. There's their collection pole. And they had to practice and all this stuff.
Yeah, they had to do this right here.
Go down the beach collecting seashells.
Yep.
Can you imagine here? Yeah, out there in the boat looking down there.
What's going on? What is he doing? What does he have on?
Used to be those were like really protected.
So these are all replicas?
They're the real thing.
The sewer pole. Floating down. Oh, here it is.
What?
There's one that you can touch.
That's moon rock?
Mm-hmm. By astronaut Jack Smith near Apollo 17 lunar module landing site. Rock weighs 17 grams and a fragment of a much larger original sample. It's probably been rubbed smooth by how many people's touched it.
Yeah.
I know you might be. Part alien. There's the lunar lander. Here, Jared, stand right in front of the flag and I'll get you on your video. Okay.
What?
Explain to your friend about your lunar mission.
It was awesome.
Good. Have you had a good time today?
Yes.
Jared, is there anything else you want to tell us about your trip?
I've been doing this for an hour and 25 minutes.
Well, she let me interview you. I think you can go through there.
Oh, that's exit only. Crap. Wait. We have to go all the way around.
Where do you go in it?
The entrance is over there. But I don't know how to get... What, was that a moon bus?
That's what they wrote road to the.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta go into a whole nother area to get
That's what I'm telling you, Dad.
Astro van.
Could those still drive?
Oh, I imagine so. Here's where you unload. Here's where we get after this.
This is gonna be really cool. This has been really cool. We are at Kennedy Space Center, if you haven't seen so far, and it's been really cool. It's hard. You can't even get really everything.
Oh, you go through there.
Uh-huh.
You want me to video when you're going through that?
No, I've already gone through it.
My distance. Go ahead. Jared's going to enter the mist. Go ahead, Mark. Irie is going to enter the mist. Jared is out of the mist. Mary is into the mist.
You're so weird.
It's the actual platform that Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin walked across. And they were the first people to go to the moon, right there. This is what they walked on.
Apollo 13.
Did you look underneath when you were walking? Give you some perspective of how high up you were. Look at the floor. And they had to ride like that for a while. And even coming back, that's how they went.
Yeah.
At 7700 feet, Armstrong and Aldrin will go first to the orbital landing site. They're 5 miles and 2.5 minutes from touchdown. Eagle has followed at 100 miles an hour. 500 feet over the routine failure. Armstrong takes over
Dad, can we get a drink and two?
Yes, he needs a drink, or he needs a restroom. get you. You just keep moving around too much.
Dad, come on. Y'all keep stopping too much.
Enjoying this?
Yes.
Are you hungry too, or you
Just thirsty.
water?
What?
I just want water.
Mary was? Get her a Fiji. I'll get some Dippin' Dots. I'm just gonna get a Fiji.
No.
Why?
$5. You'll never drink that much. You get one of these for $2.70. You make sure to drink every drop. Okay?
$5?
Remember that everything's super expensive here, so whatever you drink, whatever you get, you gotta make sure to drink.
Dad, it's about to start. The next show.
We're gonna go.
What?
We're gonna go outside.
Well, it starts in like a minute.
What does?
What?
What does?
The next show.
Mary.
You take it too far, don't you?
Dad. Hello.
Huh? You better have one of I was wondering about the last bottle. Thank you. We're able to go outside the back door with it.
Oh, sure. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Okay, good. 22.
Do y'all have a spoon I can use?
Huh?
Do y'all have a spoon?
You have a spoon right there in the lid if you pull that tab.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. You may want to just sit here with yours. We're going to go outside for a minute.
Okay.
Hey, you're welcome to come outside if you want to.
I'll go outside with y'all.
I would love to sit like in those bleachers and watch a launch.